What do you think about the European fighting game community?
It's pretty good. Like there's not a lot of videos online on YouTube about European fighters. So when you come here, it's like wow, it's a big surprise, you know. Like,
yeah, sure.
I'm CptMunta. This is episode 2 of 3 Green Bars, a series looking at Street Fighter communities around the globe. Me, my wife Mrs. Munta and Mini Munta, my daughter, we're heading to Berlin to spend a week with my brother-in-law and his girlfriend. Berlin is a very hip city with a lot of street and urban culture. Streets aligned with fantastic graffiti. Mauer Park is also a really cool place to check out on the weekends, especially if you want to get into a little bit of karaoke. I was lucky enough to be able to go to a casual session at Mr. Broken's house, where almost every Friday people would get together, drink booze and play fighting games. They've been doing this for quite some time and play pretty much all of the old school classics. I had a chat to Pedram, a third strike player from Sweden living in Berlin, who's now also getting into Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and Berling Calling, a French player living in Berlin, who also discussed the European scene as a whole. I got a lot of games in with a lot of great players, which is great, since I was going to be playing Rose in a Dutch tournament coming up in a couple of weeks.
Same. There are definitely like players, but not so many. Like European scene that are here. And still it depends on the game. Like he plays really old games. Yeah. So if you look at like for example Super Street Fighter, you like all over Europe you got Reinhardt, Zach Bennett, Alwyn, and you got Luffy and maybe Starnet or anybody down there. But that's already beatable. Beatable. And those are like 3 or 4 people. Yeah. And it's still not sure that they will win all the time. Over here if you do a tourney, it's like shit could happen. Right?
Could anyone's game.
I'm gonna put my money down and I'm gonna play. Maybe I win, maybe I don't, but I don't know yet. No, so. I don't.
I disagree with that comment.
Yeah, I disagree. Yeah, but then again, it's like all games. It's like.
But your scene will be tighter because you play the older games.
I think there are like 2 or 3 guys that can take tournaments in Super Street Fighter.
Du sagst. Was hast du das nicht super gesehen? Was ist passiert? Ich hab dich gar nicht getroffen oder so ein bisschen, ne?
Ja.
Demulant. And maybe Femme Fatale.
Okay.
I think he's in third place.
I eat him. No. I eat Femme Fatale, Swiper.
He plays so many characters.
No. You still got some old schoolers who are up there, but it's like 1 or 2 players where you know about, like like you can say like there are 2 players who are like really good and they will place like really high or win this tournament. But if you go to the US and like every tiny tournament you got like 5 or 6 known players.
Oh fuck! This is combo.
There it is.
Oh, what?
Okay, one nice comeback here.
We are the underdogs. We know we are the underdogs. We look up to the US players or the Japanese players. Yeah. But nobody knows us. So we are always an advantage. So
Yeah, interesting.
It's like if some big tournament is going to happen, European players are not known. Nobody looks at our match videos or anything. Because we don't
like Luffy won against Daigo one game in tournament. Yeah. He won and he kicked him into loser bracket. So Daigo, because he's like Daigo, he goes into the hotel room, looks at frame data, tries like some combos or some frame traps on Rose or whatever he does, and he knows the matchup. He comes back and beats him clean. So the question now is, why can he do that? He can do that because you do some patterns which other players recognize.
Yeah.
So that's the main question. How do I get away from patterns, from like simple setups, like I got meter instead of a throw setup, I would just do an EX, hurricane kick or whatever to fuck him up. And you have to mix it up really well, or like read the opponent really well, shit like that. And that's the hardest thing in like fighting games.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage.
To really use your brain, not just like I'm going.
This is how I win. This is what I'm gonna do.
Not just I got 3 mix up. Now I go mix up 2, mix up 3.
And I find that that's when I lose the worst, is when I'm not listening. I'm not listening to what they're doing. I'm trying to play my game. I'm trying to play my strongest, flashiest game.
Don't play single player.
Play versus.
It's hard to play Super Street Fighter here because everybody wants to play SNK2, Marvel, Call, stuff like that, or Third Strike. In New Zealand they also play a lot of Third Strike numbers.
Yeah, they do in Wellington. Wellington, they've got a really good Third Strike scene.
Two crazy places. So Australia and New Zealand, they're really good in Third Strike.
Oh man.
Klaas, he's from Sweden. He won the Third Strike tournament last weekend.
Oh wow.
He plays ST, he plays Marvel, every game he plays really good. The guy next to him went third in Third Strike.
International karate is
SNK2.
Okay, plus.
International karate, baby, come on.
Yeah, thank you. Punching the nuts, man. Punching the nuts. That's good shit.
Cool.
Sweet.
IK.
Although I don't know who's the best in Europe right now at Third Strike, the Swedish scene are actually very good. I went to visit Stockholm like 2 months ago. They just fucked me up. I don't know how willing they are to travel. Like there are coming a couple guys to London this week. No, like the next week. I'm also going to London. Competing Third Strike only because the rest of the lineup sucks. New games.
Not into them.
So For me at least. But France has always had a very big, very strong CvS2 scene. That's like always been playing CvS2. And in Sweden, like always Third Strike. A small amount of people like very dedicated to Third Strike. Like SF4 came out, it's like they tried a little bit, but they always hang out and they're like only playing Third Strike.
So with not many arcades, how did you guys get into Marvel 2? Like, did everyone just buy a Dreamcast or?
No, well.
How did you hear it was a good game?
I'm actually from Stockholm, so like I got into it because we had there's this place in Stockholm, Dragon's Lair. That's like 5 random Japanese arcades, and they're like there's always a Third Strike head-to-head. But then there's also a couple of ones that's always like they put in a couple of random games. And as long as people like them, they get to stay. And like they change when people like get tired of them. So.
Oh, that's a good system.
So they had like Marvel for like very long time, a couple of years at least.
Wow.
Because I guess people really didn't get tired of them, but people really just wanted to play Third Strike or Street Fighter 4. Like, the Marvel cabinet was always on, and like there was always these 3 people who was really into it, playing it, and I was like, and there was always like a big line to the Third Strike cabs. So it was like, and I was like waiting because I'm not I'm not that good. I guess I'm decent, but it's like there's also these Swedish players that's really good. That's always like sitting there and like fucking everybody up. And I was like, maybe I should try this other game because then I at least get to play, you know.
Yeah.
So it was like, and well, these guys were my buddies, so I was like, can teach my ability or Marvel or something. And like,
so did they introduce you slowly into the game?
Me, let's have a couple of matches. I like teach you the basic stuff, and then that was actually like 1 month before Marvel came out to like Xbox.
Oh wow! So that was really soon.
Yeah. So it's like half a year ago.
Wow.
I guess. I don't know.
I saw you guys went scrubs. You were doing some pretty sick shit with Spiral.
Oh no, that was not.
Like traps and
well,
shit.
Like, in comparison with the Americans, nothing. But it was pretty. I'm still pretty drunk. I was drunk as well.
What advice would you give someone to be as good as Justin Wong?
That's a good question. When I was younger, I was
patient.
I heard, right? But what I did was I went to the arcade every day, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. playing by myself. Not a lot of people came, but I played against the computer every day. And I learned everything on my own. And there was no YouTube back then.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you watch YouTube, it gets your game worse because you're copying other people. You want to get your own style, and that's when you do a lot better. Because copying YouTube doesn't make you good. It just makes you do stuff, but
you don't understand why you do that stuff.
And you can't think at your own pace. So if someone knows how to fight it, it's like you're screwed. You have to develop your own style so you know what to do in this situation,
Next time on 3 Green Bars, I head to Amsterdam. While there I compete in a major Dutch tournament called Dutchnoobz 2. I get a ride to the tournament with the founding fathers of Dutchnoobz, and we speak a bit about the history of their organisation, Street Fighter and fighting games history in Holland. I interview Thompson, a Rufus player from Germany, Birdie, current Dutch Super Street Fighter 4 champion, and I speak with Jinx from Shadaloo, a custom joystick company, and a large cross-section of Dutch players.
Where are we, Wifey?
At the Oktoberfest.
And what's great about Oktoberfest?
Beer.
What's great about Oktoberfest?
Wow.
Wow.